Well, greetings and welcome to our series of weekly devotionals. We've reached the midway point, Wednesday, in our look at chapter 16 in the book of Exodus. I'm going to begin by reading these verses. Then Moses said to Aaron, "Say to the whole congregation of the Israelites, draw near to the Lord, for he has heard your complaining." And as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the Israelites, they looked toward the wilderness, and the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. The Lord spoke to Moses and said, "I have heard the complaining of the Israelites. Say to them, at twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall have your fill of bread. Then you shall know that I am the Lord your God." I remember a couple of years ago, my family went to water park, Wild Water Kingdom at Dorney Park, and there were some pretty, what appeared to me, scary water slides, tubes to slide down. And my wife was trying to get me to go on this one particular water slide, and it looked just terrifying to me. And so I said, there was a little platform that you could stand on and watch as the tube came down into the water. And I said, I'll tell you what, you and the kids go on a tube. I'll stand on that platform. I'll watch and I'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't look too bad, then I'll go on it with you. Okay. So I stood on the platform, I watched, and as the tube came down, my wife and kids were on it, and you could hear my wife's screams from the top of the hill. That was how loud she was screaming. And she was, in fact, so terrified of the ride afterwards that she was shaking for about 10 or 15 minutes or so. And so I said to her, you know what, on second thought, I think I'm going to skip this one. But when it comes to risky thrill rides, I like to have assurances. I like to know beforehand that I'm going to be able to take it, to tolerate it. I like those things in life, assurances that things are going to work out okay. And I think a lot of folks in our society act the same way. When this whole pandemic time started, we saw people going to grocery stores in a panic, buying up boxes and boxes of toilet paper, hand sanitizer, beef, whatever it was, to have assurances that they would have enough, that if something terrible happened, they would have enough. And I think this craving for assurances, for security, for certainty, can lead people to do some not so nice things toward one another. In the story of the Israelites wandering through the desert for 40 years, they want assurances too. They want security. They want safety. They pray and plead and complain to God over and over again. They want these assurances that everything is going to work out okay. And as I said before, God does provide for them, but God doesn't do exactly what they want. And God doesn't give them assurances that everything is always going to work out okay. But what God does is God gives them quail in the nighttime and manna from heaven in the mornings, just enough to remind them that God is with them. And what God is after through this entire 40-year journey in the wilderness is for them to rely not on assurances, not on certainty, not on guarantees, but to rely on trust, to trust and have faith that God will provide for them. And I think that during this whole pandemic time, you can see that certain people have dealt with this not in a panic or an anxiety-ridden way, but with trust and faith in God. And people have shared generously with one another when we trust that God will provide for us. People, frontline workers, are willing to sacrifice their own health and safety for the good of others because they trust in God. Those who have faith and trust in God are able to enjoy the environment, enjoy the companionship and company of each other's loved ones who maybe get a chance to sit down and have dinner together more and see one another more often during these last 6 months or so. And so I think having faith and trust in God allows us to live and to act towards one another more in the way that God would desire for each of us. And that was true back 10,000 years ago or so, and it's still true today, that the only assurance we really need is God in our lives. Amen.